So nice to be with you today, Shivanjan. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay. Um, so I've not seen you like for like 6 months now, huh? Because when did you move from Spain? 6 months ago? Yeah. You moved what late 23?
No, so I permanently moved. Yeah, I was traveling quite a bit, but I permanently moved in February,
Okay.
February end, and March was when I started working in the India office itself
Okay.
for Flock.
And
And
the office were in Singapore, or where's the office? Is it in Singapore or is it in where's the
India,
office?
India,
India.
India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the same company. Alors,
Yes,
can you tell
yes.
us about your current situation, because you're going to move to the US mid August, I imagine, early August, mid August. So what is your current
Late
situation?
So my current situation is that I'm still employed with Flock. I'm working in the
Mhm.
same position. I'm working in the India office, and I plan to continue doing that. And like I'm currently in the US visa process, the F1 visa
Mhm.
for the students, and uh, I think I will resign or put down my papers around mid-July. I've already talked to the company about it. Uh, they've also been gracious enough to have talks with me about extending a deferred offer letter where they want me to, after graduation, rejoin the company after I graduate in the India office itself. So that is in advanced level of talks. Because as of now, I'm continuing to
Okay.
work
Mhm.
and going through the visa process. Also looking for housing and all of those things on the side from Yale. And Yale's career department will now start reaching out to us to help in the resume and all of those things as well. So it's basically university work, academic work, along with professional work and the visa situation. So tackling all of it
Okay.
together.
So you're busy with all of that, but at the same time, you still have a full-time job, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
So tell me, so far so good. So tell me, alors, um, basically, can you tell us about your situation, because it is something that is a bit unusual. You already have an MBA, and you had the opportunity to do a sort of another MBA, but maybe I
Hmm.
know what it is, but maybe it would be good that you explain that you can go to some schools like HEC, like IE, I don't know about others, where you can complete a second degree if you want. So what has been your process from an MBA at IE to no, a second master's at the Yale School of Management? Tell me.
Sure, sure. So uh, I actually, when I chose a 1 year MBA or a European MBA, I actually thought that a 1 year MBA would be enough to get the academic deep dive that I wanted. But
Mhm.
when I came to IE, it's only 11 months, and about two-thirds, or actually more than two-thirds of the course is core courses and lab periods. So I did not get a lot of chances to pursue the electives that I wanted to. And
Okay.
I want to pursue a career in the long term, which is along the lines of strategy and technology with a little bit of data and financial stuff involved. So since the opportunities were limited, the courses were limited, and the time was limited in the elective period, I thought that this degree with Yale or with MIT, which is both the programs that we applied to, would be great because it's like a second year of a US MBA. So
Yeah.
basically, it's all electives. So it's 40 credits worth of electives, and I plan to take courses in the fields of strategy and technology. That's why I'm pursuing a major in management science. So I think uh, that will help me gain the academic skill set that is required for me to pursue a long-term career in this. That is the first process. The second process or thought process in my head was IE is a well-reputed brand in the Middle East and in Europe, and it's building slowly within India as well. So going to Yale, I would also get the opportunity to access the Yale alumni network, which has a very strong presence in India. And now I am like, after coming back here and also spending time with family, I am prioritizing after graduation to come back to India and actually continue working here. And
In
I've
India,
seen and I've
in India
in
itself.
India. in
Yeah.
India itself. Yes, yes. And after having networked, after securing my admit, I got access to the alumni club here in India, and there are quite a few members in very senior positions, and they're very helpful. So I think having access to that alumni network is going to give me opportunities, whether that be financial or positional, in the long term, that is going to far supersede what I am getting right now. So I think the logic actually was to get the academic skill set, be able to learn with some of the best students in the world, some of the best professors in the world, and at the same time get access to an alumni network, which is very international and very helpful. So not only is it a short time thing, but in the long term, I think the combination of the IE network and the Yale network is going to help me quite a bit.
Okay. So it's that's a very good thing. But basically, would you criticize the 1 year European format?
I would not criticize it. I would not criticize it. I would say just my want is very different, and it was not satisfied with the 1 year thing. I think IE has done a great job now by giving an option between 11 or 15 months.
Yeah.
Because that 15-month, I think HEC Paris does a great job with the 16-month duration, because I think that's the sweet spot. The
Mm,
ability to be able to take a track and then electives, I think you get the necessary skill set, because generally not every person wants to do only marketing. Like I wanted
yeah.
to do strategy and technology, but I didn't have the opportunity with the 11-month format. Now the new format of IE gives you the opportunity to take both of those. So I think an HEC, for example, gives you the opportunity to take both of those. So I think uh, that is where it kind of fell short for me, but it's completely all right, because Yale gives me that opportunity, or MIT gives me that opportunity to fulfill that academic mindset. So I think only about 10 to 15% of people apply if they want to actually deep dive
Mm,
into
mm.
these subjects. They do apply, but uh, I think personally for me, it's not about criticizing the way the MBA is done in Europe. It's more about just a personal preference.
Okay. But tell me, you got accepted both to Yale and MIT, but
Yes.
you have decided to go for Yale, and you told me you want to learn more about technology consulting, and it seems to
Mhm.
me that MIT would be a better fit for what you're looking for. So what did you pick up Yale versus MIT when you want expertise
Sure.
in technology and consulting?
So I think from the networking that I did both with Yale and MIT, I first realized that Yale is slightly better regarded when it comes to consulting than MIT. MIT, of course, is the industry leader when it comes to technology. But I want to kind of work on the confluence of strategy, technology, consulting, those areas. And I feel the courses that I was finding at Yale were a lot better than what I was finding at MIT, along with my goals. The
Really?
schedule or the schedule was also better made. So there was a lot less clashes. The availability of courses were a lot more. I was able to pick from courses across the university, and the availability and the professors were a lot more. I think the difference was very tiny in this particular point. What did really stand out for me was the alumni network. So when I reached out to Yale alumni, or when I reached out to MIT alumni, the rate of response from alumni was considerably more at Yale as compared to MIT Sloan. And I think for me that was a difference maker, because at the end of the day, if you I think your network is really important. And for me, that is where Yale really differentiated themselves. In the alumni network was a lot more responsive, a lot more welcoming, a lot more helpful. And I also think the admissions committee were also a lot more responsive in general. So I think uh, that is what attached me a little more, or made me feel a little bit more welcome at the school. The third thing, which I feel again was important, was that the scholarship that was offered at Yale was higher, considerably higher, as compared to what I got at MIT. So that was a slight factor as well. But I think the first two factors were more prominent.
By the way, how much scholarship did you get?
So at Yale, I have a scholarship of $30,000, and
Yeah,
at MIT, I got a fellowship of $20,000. And I
it's
think
pretty good still. It's
$10,000.
still pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah, pretty good.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was fortunate enough that they did give me a scholarship. MIT does not give a lot of scholarships for the Master of Science in Management Studies program. So I think I was fortunate enough to be one of the few who were offered a scholarship. Uh, Unfortunately, obviously, I could not choose MIT because I felt Yale was a better fit for my profile. But yeah, I'm thankful to both of the institutions, of course, for the grants.
Okay. And can you please explain to us how this program at MIT works? If you can explain. At Yale
So,
that you have picked up. So tell me how it works.
sure. So consider it to be like the second year of an MBA. So in very
Yeah.
simplistic terms, you have to complete 40 credits across 2 semesters to complete the degree. You can pick 20 credits per semester, or you can pick 25 in one, 15 in one. It's up to you. You can also opt for a management science concentration, which is going to give you the 3-year OPT if you want. So for that, you have to do 16 credits in management science.
So if you
And
want to
how
have the
you?
OPT, you need to do this one. It's not automatic. No, you
It's
don't do
not
it
automatic. No,
it's not
no.
automatic.
So
Okay.
so so it's not automatic. You have to pursue a major in management science for that. For me, it's more about because I want to learn technology. A lot of people would
Mm.
just do it for the OPT period. Personally, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not my priority. But yes, there's an availability to do that. Also, you can literally pick subjects from whichever school you want. It's not just the School of Management. If you want to do a couple of engineering type courses, you can pick from the School of Environment and School of Engineering. You can also choose courses from the Yale College if you want, undergrad courses. So the entire university is open to you.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit
It's up
strange to
to
take Yale College. Yeah, with your experience. Yeah,
Yes, yes, but
you
I
agree?
have not my courses. So we've not actually got the chance to select all our courses yet. The bidding process for that remains to be unlocked. But I obviously am going to look at strategy and technology and a little bit of education because I have a background there, and eventually in the long term, I want to work in education. Uh, so that is something that I want to work in. But most of the courses that I'm going to take, at least not most, actually, all of the courses I'm going to take are going to be within the School of Management. But you have the option to do outside of that if you want to do a couple of courses in communication, which are offered by the School of Drama, because you want to learn presentation and you want to learn people skills. You can do that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Okay. So that's something that you have to do. Okay.
Yes.
So very good. Um, what else? What else I want to ask you? Basically, so these two programs that you have selected are what we call STEM, but you don't want to stay in the US from what I understand. So you did not pick up these two programs because they have a STEM format. No, they have a STEM designation. Was that your
For
objective?
for me, that
Working
was
with
not a
MIT,
criteria.
being at MIT or yeah. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So you not used this. You never know what can happen, huh, Shivanjan? You never know what can happen. You agree? Yeah,
I do agree. I do agree.
yeah,
My reason for selecting the program was more like the STEM designation was more academic.
yeah,
But I do understand if someone wants to keep those doors open and apply uh, to the STEM program purely because uh, they want to maximize their chances at the H-1B. For me, that's not a case because I'm already in talks with another consulting firm which is gracious to offer me a delayed position also in Dubai. So that's also an option. But preferably for me, the number one priority is coming back to India as of now because I'm really liking the work at Flock. I'm really liking the direction in which the company is going, and I feel uh, I'm contributing well. I can contribute even better once I'm through with this degree and come.
okay. Um, Alors maybe, so can you tell us why you have decided to study at IE? What brought us to study at IE first? Uh, and what you've gained from this 1 year spent in Spain?
So for me, I think the two major aspects again which brought me towards Yale was number one for IE. Uh, I felt the case-based method was really important. I attended a couple of demo lectures at and online demo lectures at other schools
Mhm.
as well. I don't want to name the schools, but I saw that they were very lecture based.
Mhm.
And at IE, the difference was that everything was very practical and very case based. And the professors, I cannot speak highly enough. At least the professors that I learned from were absolutely brilliant. They know what they're talking about. They have very realistic cases and very latest cases that they bring to the table through which we actually learn. And I think that was really important for me in particular. And that is so I think academically, I was very happy with what IE had to offer. In terms of the peer group, I think the most difficult thing that I encountered was the culture shock because I was sitting in a class with people from 60 nationalities, had very different perspectives. Their countries and their businesses and their professions worked in very different ways. So another aspect that I added was that there was a lot of group work. So they make sure that you have to work in teams. You have to work with people who are not similar to you, very different from you. Uh, so for me, it was initially that culture shock that took a little bit to get used to. But after that, I think that actually became uh, from the most difficult part to actually the easiest part. The people were very collaborative in nature, and the team actually became a strength. So I think these two things for me were really important: the academic skill set that IE gave me, as well as the network that they have given me. And the third thing that's very prevalent is since I look at a long term career in India, I see that the IE brand is very quickly climbing. There's a lot of people who are going to IE, whether that be for the MBA or to a bunch of different programs that they have.
Yeah,
And
you have
one
like
thing
the
which really
bachelor, the master, master in
exactly,
data science, mainly
exactly.
for the bachelor, mainly for the
Yes,
MIM. Yeah, so the network is
yes,
big. By the way,
yes,
IE has an office in India. Okay, so
yes, yes.
and
In Mumbai,
both
yes,
in Mumbai. But as you know, MIT or Yale do not have an office. They have an alumni network, but they are not
yes.
as active. By the way, it shows. By the way, that we don't know what will happen, but probably in 50 years, IE will be
Mhm.
a very good school, but it will be one of the top, probably, because they have invested a lot of money in their development.
100%,
Um,
100%.
have you attended classes in the IE Tower, or you
I
were
have.
in KW? You have been to both? Yeah,
I have been to both, yes.
yeah.
But
Okay,
most of my classes were in the Maria de Molina campus.
I don't know. Do you miss Spain, Shivanjan? You miss Spain? Yeah, I guess so.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think more than missing Spain, I actually I miss the student life with all of the
yeah,
people because Spain for me was very memorable because of the
yeah,
people, because of my friends at
yeah,
IE. And I think for me, it was probably the most memorable 1 year of my life.
yeah.
Uh, Full of learnings. You don't sleep a lot because you have a lot to do, a lot of friendships. So I think I look back on that year very fondly.
Yes, I imagine that it is what you got. By the way, that's something that I hear more and more from Indians. They want to stay. They like the experience abroad.
Mhm.
They are happy to go to the US to stay there for some time, but especially when it is about marriage, about family life, and I think
Mhm.
that family is an important thing for you. From what I know
Yes.
about you, they want to come back, and in terms of course, of quality of life, you cannot compare. Before you get the quality of life that you have in India, so you get
Mhm.
something like that in the US, it will be difficult.
Absolutely. And I
Uh,
also feel that since I had been away from family for a good amount of time, 1.5 years, I feel that the family life was something that I was missing as well. That's why I happily took the transfer. I actually pushed for the transfer back to India. And I think it's like I've been just happier being around family. We have a house here. We are settled in Mumbai. So I think it's just better. Also, my parents are
you're
now
from
in their
Mumbai.
sixties.
You're from
Yes,
Mumbai yourself.
yes.
So you like to go
I
to the
originally
sea.
am. I do. I've been in Mumbai for a bit. I actually don't belong from Mumbai, but my family settled here, and we have a house here. We've been here for quite a while now, and I also feel like my parents are now in their 60s, so it's just good that I stay with them, spend time with them. So I think for me,
But
that's
yeah,
what I want. There are a bunch of people who would prefer to live abroad, uh, and that's great as well. This is just a personal preference thing for me.
okay. You have siblings or you're single
Yes,
child?
I have. Yes,
Yeah. So
I
you
have.
still
My
have
brother
parents
is
to
18 years.
yeah. So you still have brothers or sisters to take care of your parents. It's not okay. But yes, you want to come back. Basically,
Yes,
I did not ask you. Basically, before I ask you a question about yourself, tell me, have you been to America? I'm sure that you have visited America, but you have never lived there for long. No,
I've never visited the US.
I never lived. Okay.
This is going to be my first time.
So what do you expect?
I actually made a lot of American friends at IE. So they've told me that the life in the US is a lot more similar to India than it is to Spain. It's a faster life. The professional life is also, say, more hectic. Uh, it's a lot more, I would say, demanding in terms of time. But I'm used to that, to be honest. And I also expect a high quality of academic rigor at Yale since I will be living a student life. The alumni that I've spoken to who have also done the same program and have gone from IE have been like, yes, IE was rigorous, but Yale is going to be more rigorous because that's just the American way of doing things. So you'll have to buck up for that. And I'm actually looking forward to it.
Okay. Yes, of course. I perfectly understand. Um, so can you tell us more about yourself, Shivanjan?
Sure. Uh, so professionally, I've been working for 7 years now, approximately. Uh, I would say that my professional career has been bifurcated into two parts. For the first 4 years, approximately, I was working in the edtech industry, and that was mostly in the business development and strategy functions. Then I switched to strategy consulting. And since then, I have worked for 2 years as an engagement manager in a boutique consulting firm called ThoughtNext Technology. This was more into strategy consulting. Then I did my MBA from IE Business School. Then I have started working. It started with an MBA internship at Flock, where I'm like an internal consultant. So my designation is strategy consultant CEO office. So I'm more into corporate strategy, expansion of the company, growth, revenue growth, those kinds of things. And it started with an internship for 6 months from August to January 2024, and February I joined them full time. And I've been working with them so far. Really enjoying my work. Outside of work, I am a powerlifter, and I've been powerlifting for approximately 14 years now. I've competed at the national level, at the state level as well. So I've been into sports pretty much all my life, and that is an integral part of my life as well. So yeah, that's a bit about. And my bachelor's, I'm an engineer by undergraduate education. I graduated in 2016 with a degree in computer science and engineering
Mm.
from the Manipal Institute of Technology in India. And within India, I have lived in a lot of different cities because my father is part of, or has now retired, but was part of the Indian Revenue Services. So he was part of the income tax department. So we moved quite a bit all around India. So I have lived in, I think, 11 different cities before moving to Spain, that was, but now we are settled in Mumbai.
And your father is retired, I guess now. Yeah, your father is retired.
Yes, he's now retired. Yes.
Okay. Uh, so can you please introduce yourself, maybe in 2 minutes, 2 3 minutes? Right.
Sure. Uh, so my name is Shivanjan and I hold a bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering, graduated 2016. Uh, in total, I have about 7 years of experience. For the first 4 years, uh, I was working in the business development and strategy domain of some of the fastest growing edtech companies in the world and in India. This was mostly out of India. After that, I made the switch into strategy consulting, where I worked in the consulting services department of ThoughtNext Technology as an engagement manager. So here I was dealing with clients in the Middle East or clients in Europe on consulting projects. Uh, this was up till 2022. I started my MBA in September 2022 at IE Business School, graduated in July 2023. And in August 2023, I started my MBA internship at Flock, which is an online game development and e-learning company. My designation was strategy consultant CEO office. That was for 6 months. In February, I joined them full time, and for now, I'm working with them. I've been admitted to both the Yale School of Management for their Master of Advanced Management program and the Master of Science in Management Studies program for MIT Sloan. I have decided to enroll at Yale, and I will be starting at Yale in August 2024.
Okay. So very good. So now tell me about the admission process. So we met when I met you. You had already taken the GMAT, and your GMAT was 730 or 740. I forgot. Was it 730 or 740?
730.
730.
730.
So it's
Yes.
730, so which is very good GMAT. By the way, have you applied to other schools? Yeah, it seems that you did, but I was not really aware. Have you applied to other schools, Shivanjan? Yeah.
Are you talking about the
When you applied
like
to
when I
IE, when you applied to IE. So can
yes,
you please tell me
yes.
about
So
the initial admission process? Because I know after that I worked with you when you were already an
yeah,
IE, when you were already an IE MBA graduate.
sure,
Okay.
sure,
What
sure.
has been the initial process? Because that's something you see, you perfectly see that Europeans they don't take that very seriously because it's not extremely selective. Okay, but of course for an Indian it is selective because you have so many Indians applying that it's so. What has been the process? What brought you to IE? What did you have to achieve to go through to go to IE? Tell me.
Absolutely, sure. So I think there are a couple of things which I did right, but then there was one thing which I did really wrong. I left my GMAT right till the end date. I think that's not the best way to go about it.
Yeah,
I should have given it more time. I think I prepped for less than 3 weeks for my GMAT. So I think in less than 3 weeks, 730 is a good score. But
of course.
it it was only 1 week before my deadline started for round one. The schools that I applied to, and this is back in 2021, were INSEAD, London Business School, Oxford, Cambridge, IE, SRA, Starbucks.
Okay.
So,
So,
and
so tell me.
HEC
So
Paris.
what
And
happened?
HEC
So tell me
Paris.
what happened.
I could not get through to INSEAD, LBS, or HEC Paris. I
Okay.
got through everywhere else. My fourth choice was IE in the list. So as soon as I got through IE and I got a scholarship, I decided to enroll there. But I also got admitted to Oxford, Cambridge, SRA, and Starbucks. Uh, so already when I done my background research, IE was fourth on my list, so that made sense. Uh, I think my GMAT I could have pushed 20, 30 points higher, but I did not have the time. So I had to choose to either apply in round one with the 730 or defer to round two and then apply with a higher GMAT. I chose to apply in round one itself. I also believe that there were certain aspects in my application which I could have highlighted better, which obviously I did when I started working with you. Uh, And honestly speaking, I mean, I think there were a lot of aspects that could have slightly improved in the application, but all in all, I was pretty happy with the application that I had. Honestly, I did not do a lot of things specifically for the application itself because, in terms of extracurriculars, for example, sports and powerlifting and fitness coaching was something that I was doing since a long time before that. So it was not right before the application. I think the application process is difficult because you have to self-reflect quite a bit
Yeah.
uh, and do a lot of research on the schools. I think that is the crucial part, which I see a lot of people don't do. I also did not do the best of it in the first attempt. I think I did a lot better research about MIT and Yale because when I'd gone through the process, now I knew kind of what is to be done. And that is why, if you remember, when I came to you, I was very particular that Yale and MIT are just the two schools that I'm going to apply to. I don't want to apply anywhere else
Yeah.
because I was
And
very
plus,
clear on what I wanted.
plus,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but as you know,
Yes,
for
all right.
IE, the essay is a very easy essay because it tell me about something that is not in your CV that you like to mention with us. Okay, and this one is very creative, but it doesn't require a very good understanding of the school. You may
Hmm.
have to show that you know the school well, for instance, when you have the interview, but you know you're an intelligent guy and you know how to talk and you have made enough research. So anyway, IE is probably the only school for which you don't need to do extensive research because anyway the questions are not about the school, if you remember. Whereas, of course, when you
Yes.
apply to HEC, by the way, Oxford has the same thing. They have a very, would you want to be, or to whom do you want to talk in 20 years? Or what do you want to be in 20 years? Something like that. So basically, it's really something for which you don't need to know Oxford and IE, you don't need to know the school very well.
Hmm.
Even in SEAD nowadays, because they don't even have, they no longer have the question about why in SEAD, and they just have a question about but of course they will see if you fit to the school through other means. Okay, so
Yes.
basically for IE
Yes.
it was not very important. So what else have you done for MIT and except working with me for MIT and Yale that you didn't do for the other schools, Shivanjan?
I think the first, probably the most important step was I spoke to a lot of alumni, and what I've discovered is nobody tells you stuff about a school better than the alumni from that school.
Yeah,
And I spoke to alumni, not just recent alumni. I spoke to alumni who graduated from the same program back in 2017, 2018, so like 5, 6 years ago, up till very recent graduate and current students as well. And I think speaking to them actually gave me insights about the school. So I think that that's the single most important step that I did. Uh, of course, a lot of the people from IE have gone to both MIT as well as Yale for the same program. So I actually picked out a lot of the IE people, and they gave me very candid feedback about uh, how they went about the application process, what's good about Yale, what's not so good about Yale. In fact, I mean, they weren't really a lot of points which were not good, to be honest. But they did uh, they did help me out and were very responsive. The second thing which I feel was important was if I have doubts or if I want to speak and get things clarified, it is important to reach out to the admissions committee, to the admissions team. So I was
yeah,
fortunate enough to speak to Evelyn, who's part of the admissions team of the Master of Advanced Management. She came to IE for a presentation because Yale and IE have very strong relations as well in general as a
yeah,
school. So that was also a great opportunity, getting to meet her in person, asking my questions, solving my doubts about the application process. So I think those two are very key aspects uh, to understand the school, to ask your questions from the admissions team, to also ask your questions from the alumni. And for that, it's going to be very important to just go through the program itself. If you truly find why that particular program is going to fit you, then you'll be able to ask very relevant and intelligent questions to the alumni as well as the admissions team. Like, avoid asking questions which are already there on the website, because that you can just do your own research for. But maybe ask questions which are not on the website or are not answered on public forums, which you need a student or an alumni or an admissions team member to answer. So I think that part was really important. It actually helped me uh, praise my essays a lot better when I worked with you as well.
yeah, yeah. Most likely. Now, after we have work on the application. So you send your application. You did not retake the GMAT because your 730 was enough. Did you retake the GMAT to have a better score? No,
No, no,
no.
no.
So after that, you had the interview. How does the interview work at MIT and Yale so that people
Uh,
understand? Because normally, I know for the MBA, I don't know for your program, I don't really remember, but for the MBA, it is a very different process. And I'm sure it's the same for your master. How does it work, Shivanjan, if you can explain?
Sure. So I think in the MBA, Yale has alumni interviews, but it's different for the Master of Advanced Management program. It's with a member of the admissions committee, and I interviewed with a member of the admissions team. The
Okay.
interview, to be honest, was conversational. They genuinely want to know about why you want to do the program, why you want to come to Yale. And of course, Yale is Ivy League and all of that. Those are not good enough answers. You need to have concrete answers as to why you want to come to Yale. So it's important. Like, this is something they don't like at all. This is something they keep saying in the webinars also. And that's another tip. Please attend the webinars that the admissions team organize. Uh, you need to find why you want to go to Yale. You need to find why you want to have that, or you want to go for that program. So I think most of the conversation was, why do you want to do the Master of Advanced Management program? You already have a top MBA. What is it going to add to? Why do you want to come to Yale? What stands out about Yale for you? Uh, what is one of so another question which was tricky is again a behavioral question which you will have to prepare for is, give me an example of when you were working in a team and there was conflict within a team. How did you resolve it? If you have all of this
Okay.
leadership experience, because I have considerable amount of leadership experience, I got it from a very young age. Uh, so how do you resolve a conflict? And another question that was asked was that your personality from your essays and how you speak comes off that you're a leader. But what if in a team you are required to play a role where maybe you're not a leader for once or in one project? Are you ready to play a second role and make someone else a leader? How do you deal with a situation like that? So I think it was very conversational. They wanted to understand critical thinking. They wanted to understand, if they put you in a situation, how you're going to respond to it. And then there was also a question of, uh, what do you do outside of work? Tell me something which you do outside of work, which interests you. Uh, so they want to see a bit of personality as well. You just cannot be a person who has a high GMAT or a high GPA or is very professionally accomplished. They want some personality, and I think that is how Yale went. Uh, I think MIT was slightly different in the sense that it was a little more focused on my professional aspect uh, and my academic aspect as compared to Yale. Uh, Now, this is another thing. So, my undergrad GPA is not the best, uh,
Okay.
but my MBA GPA was Dean's List. Like, I was in the top 10%. So, Yale did not even bring my academics up. They didn't even bring my GMAT up. MIT did. They were like, your undergrad GPA compared to your MBA and compared to your GMAT, it looks like uh, there is a vast difference between the two. So how, like, what did you learn from your undergraduate performance that made you excel in your MBA, or what did you learn in your work career
Why
that
did you
made
have
you
bad
excel?
grades? I forgot. I think that you told me, but why did you have bad grades? Because basically you were not focused. Huh? You know, that's why. No.
So
Hello.
no, no, no. So my grades, mostly it was because of the fact that in the first year I was doing fine. In the second year, I just found out that I was not cut out for engineering. I was more interested in the business aspect of technology combined together, and which is why I pursued a career mostly in that domain. Uh, so I think, like, even now when I'm talking about it, strategy and technology are important. So I think it's business and technology which combine well with me, not hardcore coding, and that was important. That is why I shaped my career accordingly, and I think I was just built better for the business domain. And in hindsight, I also found out that uh, I was representing my teams in a lot of like my college teams and sports and all of those things. So I could have managed my time better. I could have still done better at my grades and managed my time better. But I think that maturity came slightly later, which is what I discussed during my interview as well. Because MIT did not focus on the grades being low, they focused on what did you learn from that entire experience. And how, if you go back to that time, or if you speak to that 20-year-old Shivanjan or 18-year-old Shivanjan, how would you advise him? So I was like, I would advise him to manage his time better. Maybe don't
Yeah.
maybe don't play three sports, play two, and maybe give a
Yeah.
little more time to your academics, right? So I think that uh, they want to see that presence of mind and how you have learned from those low experiences and turned them into high experiences. And I think they were happy about the turnaround that happened during the MBA. But that is one foundational difference that I found between the MIT and Yale interview, is that MIT touched upon that academic aspect and how I turned it around. Yale was more interested in what I do right now and what my personality is.
Okay, so that's okay. That's what you do.
Yes.
So what piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to apply for this program, Shivanjan?
I would say the single piece of advice that I would give is be very clear on why you want to do that program. Uh, how does it fit into, because these programs are open to only people who have an MBA. And if you and like for example, MIT is even more niche because they are solely open to a bunch of 10 or 12 schools that MIT has partnerships with. But Yale has now opened the Master of Advanced Management to any student who has an MBA.
Any
So
student who has an MBA can follow this program.
any student, so in round one is reserved for the GNAM schools, which is 32 schools that Yale has partnered with. But round two and three is open to anyone with an MBA. Like right now,
Okay.
my class has people from IIMs, ISBs who are coming to Yale for this program, who've done an MBA from IIM, ISB, and other top Indian schools also. And I know about the Indian schools because that's more relevant. But in the past, there have been people from Cambridge also who've done
Okay.
it. There have been people from INSEAD also who've done it. So uh, be very be very meticulous about. Even now, I think there's one person from INSEAD who's going to join. Either like she
It's
also
strange,
got
but at
into.
the same time I can understand because it's a 1 year program. Anyway, you can do the MBA in 2 years. It's a STEM program, so it's access
Mhm.
to the US. I perfectly understand the logic. Huh? You agree?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And but I think it's also important to answer that question because they're going to ask you in the interview. The first question is going to be this: you already have a very well acclaimed MBA because most of the GNAM schools are ranked in the top 20 in the world. So they're going to be like, okay, you already have a top MBA, you already have a top notch network, top notch education. What is remaining that is bringing you to Yale? And I think you need to be very clear on that because that is the main question. And that is, I think, a make or break between acceptance and rejection is, are you clear on why you're doing this program? A lot of people have academic aspirations like me. A lot of people have a mixture of academic slash career. But be clear and be honest about it. Be very clear about that. Uh, so do your research. Speak to alumni. Speak to admissions committee members. Admissions team members. Attend their webinars. If you're part of the GNAM schools, Yale, most probably the Yale representatives will visit your school. Like they visit IE, they visit HEC Paris, I know for a fact. Uh,
Mm.
so if they visit your school, make sure you attend those events, you have those conversations with them so that you also get clarity as to whether it's a good fit or not. It's not a compulsion to do the program. Maybe you find out that, okay, this is not my cup of tea. And that's a good thing because it's a substantial investment as well. So I think do your research is important. The second thing is don't get caught up in one part of the application. The application is indeed a holistic process. Just a high GMAT score is not going to get you in. Just good essays are not going to get you in. Just networking is not going to get you in. I think it's a balanced approach that counts. That being said, of course, try to aim as high as you can for your GMAT. Because I mean, I don't know, they don't advertise what the score is for the median for my class, but I'm guessing it's upwards of 700. It's
Well,
a
for
guess.
sure.
I
For
don't have.
Indians, it must be close to 750, and for the non-Indians, close to it must be 720 plus. Huh? I guess so. No, I'm
Uh,
not sure. But yeah.
I think it's within 10 to 20 points of what their MBA GMAT is. You can take that to be a benchmark. If like Yale, I think for their latest intake, their GMAT median or average was about 720. So you can take that to be a benchmark, 710, 720. Again, this is all me taking guesses. They don't
Okay.
advertise this, or none of this is official data. But try to be as high as possible. I mean, obviously, if you have a 760 on the GMAT, and I mean, like now they have the focus edition. So let's say if you have a 99th percentile or a 98th percentile,
Yes,
that is good.
716. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So that is going to add value to your profile for sure. And uh, from your MBA, of course, they will look at what you've done. They look at the transcripts of your MBA very carefully. They look at your undergraduate transcripts. They also look at your MBA transcripts. So if you've done well in the MBA, then that is something that they look at favorably. And it's not just academics. You could have done well in the community part. You could have held leadership positions. You could have been someone who's represented school at sports or case competitions. So they look at all of that. They
Mm.
want you to be a good community member for the MBA school as well. And I think that's going to reflect upon how you're going to behave at Yale as well. So that is also important. Yeah.
Yes. So Shivanjan, I don't want to use too much of your time. I will talk to you after that. Huh? So basically, it was very, very nice to work with you. I explained, by the way, that in my LinkedIn post advertising this webinar today, that we were in contact long before. I remember that you were basically liking my post, and it brought you luck, probably. And of course, it was very nice. We had time basically to work. I think we worked twice in Madrid because you live next to my office, so we had the opportunity to work together. And you're a very nice
Yes.
person, and I really like you. And I don't say that very often that I like someone, but you're a very kind and very nice person, and I'm happy to know you. I'm happy to know you because I know that we'll do probably other things together in life later on, or if not, what? But you're a good guy, and you deserve success and success and happiness, and more important, happiness than success. And I know that success you will have it because you're a successful person, and I'm sure that I don't know you well enough to see if you are happy or if you could be more happy. But you deserve the best because you're a good person. You're a kind-hearted person. By the way, it's very funny because you're quite muscular, but at the same time, you're in yourself, you're a very kind-hearted person. So you can be impressive from the outside, maybe for someone who doesn't know you, but in reality, inside, you're very kind. Okay?
Thank you so much for the
Hello?
kind words,
Yeah,
Dr. Huber. And thank
yeah.
you so much for adding value, not just to an application, but I think you're doing a big favor to any educational aspirant and the education industry in
Mm.
general. I'm very passionate about the industry and education in general, and always willing to learn from experts and stalwarts like you who've already made a mark on the industry, continue to make a mark on the industry, and I hope that I will get the opportunity to continue learning from you in the future as well.
I'm sure, I'm sure. But now I wish you a great time in the US. Okay? Be careful because the part of you are in near Yale may be a bit dangerous. I'm sure that you have up about New and this part of where Yale is, but you're going to have a great time there. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot. You're going to make great friends, and the experience will be incredible for you. Huh? Okay.
Thank you
Voilà.
so much,
So I
Dr. Huber. Look
wish
forward
you a
to it.
good time,
Thank you
and
so
I
much.
will talk to you later on this weekend. Have a good day, Shivanjan. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.